Hello, friends. So today, let's talk about reward circuit. Now, this is relevant, in your day-to-day routine, in your lifestyle, but also pathologically when it comes to addiction. So I published this article in 2024. I will put a link on the description box. But I just thought that I'll share this reward circuit diagram, which is there in the article. It's very interesting to see the way the projections are made by all these neurotransmitters and the structures in the brain involved in this reward circuit. So let's first talk about these important structures. So here at the center is the ventral tegmental area where you could see most of the projections are either towards or it is moving towards other structures. So ventral tegmental area is mainly involved in reward and the emotions involved with it. And this could be reward in terms of um, drug addiction or even any behavioral addiction, or in terms of like in your day-to-day life. So say if you were praised for something or if you were rewarded for something, uh, and that sticks in your brain. So what this area does is it ensures that this is reinforced in future as well, that you did this particular task, so this task worked for you, it reaped rewards. So yes, I would rather want to repeat that. Now, what is the role of medial prefrontal cortex here? This deals with your personality expressions, with your behavior, which comes with that reward. Now, so say when you're pleased with that reward, you would want to do it again. So your behavior would be more inclined towards that. You would be more motivated. However, if you look at the flip side, so if you are addicted, say, to a particular drug, or multiple drugs for that matter, what this does is it reinforces the behavior which comes from consumption from that drug, and that is where the role of medial prefrontal cortex is. So the ventral tegmental area will retain the reward and reinforcement which comes from that reinforced behavior, I mean, and medial prefrontal cortex would act as the behavioral element which comes from that reward and reinforcement. Now, what is the role of nucleus accumbens? So, nucleus accumbens is the site of reward mechanism. So, it ensures that when you feel pleased about something, that is where nucleus accumbens is activated, and it just reinforces the mechanism of a ventral tegmental area, and the primary role of nucleus accumbens is that when you feel pleased or when you have that sense of pleasure, so that role where you feel, where you have that feeling of pleasure, that is what the nucleus accumbens does. You get that feeling of pleasure or reward from that particular action. What is the role of amygdala? Now, amygdala deals with emotions. So, if medial prefrontal cortex deals with the behavior, the personality coming from that reward, nucleus accumbens deals with the pleasure, amygdala deals with the emotions, whether it is the emotion of feeling delighted or even fear for that matter. From so sometimes the thing which I mentioned about reinforcement is that sometimes when you consume more drugs, eventually you would need more because the tolerance level in your system reduces significantly. So you have the urge of taking more to get that desired reward. However, that emotion you get, that urge you get, that comes from amygdala. So it is the sense of fear or the sense of urge, the emotions which comes from the reward mechanism, that is from the amygdala. Hippocampus, it purely deals with memory. It ensures that whatever you've learned from this, it is retained. So it deals with the memory, whether it is the memory of reward, reinforcement, behavior, pleasure, or emotions, whether it is happy or fear or sadness. So hippocampus retains that memory. So these are the common structures involved in reward mechanism. Now, so the projections which happens through various neurotransmitters, it is through mesolimbic and mesocortical pathways. And this is where I mentioned about motivation, movement, and memory. That this is where all these projections, it is projected through these pathways, and it deals with motivation, movement, and memory, which is all activated by these structures. So the common neurotransmitters involved are dopamine, glutamate, and GABA. So if you think of the dopamine, so as you can see, there are multiple projections there through the mesocortical and mesolimbic pathway through various structures. So is the glutamate. Right now, glutamate and dopamine, they work hand in hand. So the one in brown or orange is dopamine, and the one with the green is glutamate. So as you can see, most of the time they work hand in hand. They work synergistically to create that reward mechanism. It acts as an excitatory pathway, and that is where the significance is that they work together. So both dopamine and glutamate, they have excitatory pathway. However, when it comes to GABA, it has an inhibitory pathway. So GABA, with its inhibitory mechanism, it ignites the reward and the motivation and the behavior and the memory which comes. So all these three are involved, but the way it is involved in reward mechanism is different. Dopamine and glutamate work similarly, and GABA works slightly differently through its inhibitory mechanism. So this was a very simplified way to describe what reward circuit is, how the projections are done through common pathways like mesolimbic and mesocortical, and which structures are primarily involved in reward, reinforcement, and the behavior, the emotions, the pleasure, and the memory from all this experience. I hope this was useful. I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.